Our story, a saga of destiny and determination, begins not with a grand plan etched in stone or the clash of armies on the battlefield. Instead, it unfolds with a desperate act of abandonment beside the silken currents of the river Tiber. A fragile wicker basket, the vessel of fate, carrying two tiny lives, Romulus and Remus, adrift on the water's uncertain path. Born to Rhea Silvia, a woman of royal lineage, daughter of the deposed King Numitor, a ruler robbed of his throne, the twins were immediately seen as threats, dangerous obstacles in the path of the ruthless usurper Amulius. Driven by paranoia and a thirst for power, Amulius ordered their deaths, a cruel decree meant to extinguish any future claim to his stolen crown. But fate, it seems, had other plans. As a merciful servant, defying the king's command, set them adrift instead, entrusting their lives to the river's whim. The servant, burdened by conscience, could only hope that fate, or perhaps the gods themselves, would intervene and spare the innocent lives. The basket, guided by unseen forces, eventually washed ashore beneath the shade of a wild fig tree, its roots clinging to the riverbank. It was there, in that unlikely sanctuary, that a she-wolf, an animal sacred to the god Mars, discovered the crying infants, their cries piercing the silence of the wilderness. But rather than succumbing to primal instinct and harming them, she defied nature, and instead she nursed them, offering them sustenance and warmth. And as if guided by divine will, a woodpecker, another creature sacred to Mars, brought them food, sustaining their fragile lives. These were not mere coincidences, but divine signs, whispers of a grand destiny that awaited them. Later, as fate would have it, a shepherd named Faustulus, a humble man of the land, found the boys, abandoned yet miraculously alive. And with his wife, Acca Larentia, a woman of immense compassion, he raised them as his own, nurturing them in the ways of the countryside. Romulus and Remus grew up strong and resilient, their bodies hardened by the sun and wind, their spirits forged in the heart of the wilderness. They spent their days defending their flocks from predators, honing their skills and earning the respect of their peers through acts of bravery and unwavering loyalty. Unaware of the royal blood that coursed through their veins, a secret hidden from them by the tides of fate, they became natural leaders, commanding respect and inspiring those around them with their charisma and unwavering resolve. Their characters were shaped by hardship and the untamed spirit of the wild, instilling in them a fierce independence and an unyielding determination. Their survival, a testament to the unlikely alliance between beast and man, a bond forged in the crucible of abandonment, set them apart as children of fate, marked by the hand of destiny for a purpose yet to be revealed. The twins' rustic upbringing, far from the gilded halls of power, forged their courage and unity, binding them together with an unbreakable bond. This unique upbringing was unknowingly preparing them for a greater destiny, a destiny that would forever alter the course of history. The legend of the she-wolf, the compassionate protector, became an enduring symbol of Rome's mysterious origins, a tale of survival nurtured by the embrace of nature and seemingly chosen by the gods themselves. Their story is not just a simple tale about survival against all odds, but about the improbable birth of a city, a beacon of civilization destined for unparalleled greatness and enduring legacy. The wildness of their youth, the untamed spirit that defined their early years, would forever echo in the very foundations of the city they would one day found, shaping its character and destiny. From the humble beginnings at the river's edge to the majestic hills of Rome, their future kingdom, their arduous journey, fraught with peril and promise, was only just beginning, a path paved with both glory and tragedy. The gods, it seemed, had meticulously crafted plans for these extraordinary twins, their fates intertwined with the very destiny of the world. Their destinies stretched far beyond the familiar banks of the Tiber, reaching towards a future that would reshape the world. Their incredible tale, a tapestry woven with threads of courage, compassion, and divine intervention, would ultimately become the foundational myth of a mighty empire. From these humble and precarious beginnings, the world's greatest city would rise, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. It was from this extraordinary act of mercy, this unexpected compassion in the heart of the wild, that Rome's legendary story would begin to unfold. The grand narrative of Rome, a story etched in blood and glory, starts not with the triumphs of kings or the thunder of marching armies, but with the poignant image of two abandoned children adrift on a river, and the unexpected compassion of a she-wolf, a symbol of hope in the face of despair. To truly understand the origins of Rome, a civilization that would shape the course of history, we must look beyond the Tiber River, far to the east, to the legendary ruins of Troy. This ancient city, steeped in myth and warfare, holds the key to Rome's very identity. The Romans, with their keen sense of history and legacy, proudly claimed descent from Aeneas, a Trojan prince, a warrior of renown, and perhaps most importantly, the son of Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, thus seeking a heroic and divine lineage. After the devastating fall of Troy, a city consumed by flames and war, Aeneas, burdened with the weight of his people's survival, led a band of Trojan survivors on a perilous journey across the vast and unforgiving Mediterranean Sea, facing treacherous storms that threatened to swallow their ships whole, battling mythical monsters lurking beneath the waves, and enduring the relentless wrath of Juno, the queen of the gods, who held a deep-seated grudge against the Trojans. In the vibrant city of Carthage, on the shores of North Africa, he found solace and had a passionate yet ultimately tragic romance with Queen Dido, a powerful and charismatic ruler, but destiny, it seemed, had other plans for him, relentlessly calling him onward towards a future he could not yet fully comprehend. Finally, after years of wandering and hardship, reaching the shores of Latium in Italy, the promised land, Aeneas was welcomed by King Latinus, the wise and benevolent ruler of the Latins, who, recognizing Aeneas' noble character and destiny, offered his daughter Lavinia in marriage, a union that promised peace and prosperity. This strategic alliance, however, sparked a bitter and bloody war with Turnus, a powerful Rutulian prince and Lavinia's former suitor who refused to relinquish his claim. The conflict culminated in a decisive battle, where Aeneas emerged victorious, paving the way for the founding of Lavinium, the first Trojan settlement on Italian soil. Aeneas' son Ascanius, continuing his father's legacy, would later found Alba Longa, a city that would become a significant power in its own right, and the very birthplace of Romulus and Remus, the legendary twins who would ultimately found the city of Rome itself. The epic story of Aeneas, immortalized by the Roman poet Virgil in his masterpiece The Aeneid, gave Rome a noble and divinely ordained ancestry, instilling in its people a profound sense of destiny and a belief in their own greatness. It strategically linked Rome to the illustrious epic world of the Greeks, forging a connection to a civilization renowned for its art, philosophy, and military prowess, thereby elevating its status and legitimacy among the other great civilizations of the ancient world. The myth of Aeneas, with its themes of courage, sacrifice, and devotion to duty, became a powerful model of duty, perseverance in the face of adversity, and unwavering piety for generations of Romans, shaping their values and inspiring them to strive for greatness in all their endeavors. Through the figure of Aeneas, Rome boldly claimed the favor of the gods, asserting that their rise to power was not merely a matter of chance, but a divinely sanctioned right to rule and to bring order and civilization to the world. The arduous journey from the ashes of Troy to the shores of Italy, fraught with peril and sacrifice, became the sacred and spiritual prelude to the eventual founding of Rome, a city destined for greatness. Rome's foundation myth, therefore, was not just a local tale or a regional legend. It was a global narrative, strategically connecting the East and the West, weaving together the threads of different cultures and civilizations. In the figure of Aeneas, the Romans found not just a hero, but a symbol of their own aspirations and values. And in his epic journey, they discovered their own sense of purpose, their own manifest destiny, and their own unwavering belief in the enduring power of the Roman spirit. As young men, Romulus and Remus, the legendary twins, were raised far from their birthright. But destiny had other plans. They eventually learned of their royal heritage, a lineage intertwined with power and intrigue. Driven by a sense of justice and a thirst for reclaiming what was rightfully theirs, they courageously overthrew Amulius, the usurper king who had stolen their grandfather's throne, restoring their grandfather Numitor to his rightful place. Their quest complete, the brothers found themselves at a crossroads, their heroic deeds having paved the way for a new chapter in their lives. The twins sought a new challenge, a challenge that would immortalize their names in the annals of history, founding a city on the very land where they'd been miraculously saved by the she-wolf, an event that shaped their destiny. But the bonds of unity, forged in shared adversity, soon gave way to the insidious creep of rivalry, a force that would tragically alter their fate. A fundamental disagreement arose. They disagreed on which of Rome's 7 hills to build upon, with Romulus favoring the Palatine and Remus advocating for the Aventine. Seeking divine guidance, they turned to the ancient practice of augury, hoping the gods would reveal their chosen location. Remus, gazing at the sky, claimed to have seen 6 vultures first, a sign he interpreted as favoring his claim. But Romulus countered, declaring he had witnessed 12 vultures, a number he believed signified the gods' greater blessing, sparking a bitter and increasingly volatile dispute. The argument escalated, fueled by ambition and pride, as each brother vehemently claimed the exclusive favor of the gods, their interpretations of the omens driving them further apart. The chasm between them widened with each passing moment, and their once unbreakable bond fractured under the weight of their conflicting desires. Undeterred, Romulus, driven by his vision, began the construction of the city walls on the Palatine Hill, marking the boundaries of what would become Rome. In a brazen act of defiance and mockery, Remus scornfully leapt over the nascent walls, a symbolic gesture of contempt that would have devastating consequences. Enraged by this blatant disrespect and perceived threat to his authority, Romulus, in a fit of uncontrollable fury, struck Remus down, a tragic act of fratricide that would forever stain the city's history. Standing over his fallen brother, Romulus declared, with a chilling pronouncement, "So perish all who cross my walls," a stark warning to any who dared challenge his rule. And so, Rome was founded in blood, a grim testament to the ambition and violence that marked its very beginnings. The city's name, forever etched in history, was taken from the surviving brother Romulus, the man who would become its first king. The city's birth was marked by ambition, rivalry, and unspeakable tragedy, a potent mix of elements that would shape its destiny. A foreshadowing of its future, a glimpse into the complex tapestry of triumphs and tribulations that lay ahead. Romulus, the victor and the fratricide, became Rome's first king, establishing a monarchy that would lay the foundation for a mighty empire. His act of fratricide served as both a warning against unchecked ambition and a legacy of violence that would haunt Rome throughout its long and storied history. The city's foundation was a paradox, both a triumph of human will and a curse born of brotherly bloodshed, forever intertwined. This duality set the tone for centuries of conflict and unparalleled greatness, defining the very essence of Rome's character. Rome's story is inextricably linked to the violence and unbridled passion of its founders, a narrative etched in blood and ambition. From the bonds of brotherhood to the depths of betrayal, the tale of Romulus and Remus is a timeless reminder of the destructive power of rivalry. The city's origins were as complex and multifaceted as its ultimate destiny, a tapestry woven with threads of heroism, treachery, and the enduring quest for power. The site of Rome was chosen with care, 7 hills rising above marshy lowlands, natural fortresses for early settlers. The hills offered defense and a vantage point, while the valleys became forums and markets. Proximity to the Tiber River provided water, trade routes, and a crossing at Tiber Island. Rome's inland position protected it from pirates, yet kept it connected to the sea. Fertile volcanic soil supported crops and livestock, ensuring food and growth. The land's abundance allowed the settlement to thrive and expand. Rome's central location in Italy made it a crossroads for trade and conquest. The city could project power in all directions, unconfined by geography. Strategic placement was key to Rome's rise from village to empire. Whether by divine will or human foresight, the choice of site was a masterstroke. The city's geography shaped its destiny, enabling both defense and expansion. Rome's foundation was as much about place as about people. Romulus's city was filled with men, shepherds, exiles, adventurers, but lacked women. Without families, Rome's future was in jeopardy. Romulus's requests for intermarriage were rejected by neighboring tribes who scorned the Romans. Desperate, Romulus devised a cunning plan, a festival to lure the Sabines and others to Rome. As guests enjoyed the games, Roman men seized the Sabine women, driving away their families. The abduction led to outrage and war as the Sabines marched on Rome. Fierce battles raged, with the Sabines even capturing the Capitoline Hill. In the midst of bloodshed, the Sabine women intervened, placing themselves between fathers and husbands. They pleaded for peace, holding up their children as living bonds between the warring sides. Their courage halted the fighting and forced both peoples to reconsider. The episode became a symbol of Rome's ability to absorb outsiders, even through violence. The city's growth was marked by conflict, but also by reconciliation. The Sabine women's intervention set a precedent for Rome's future: unity through inclusion. Rome's beginnings were harsh, but its strength lay in turning enemies into citizens. the city's survival depended on both force and forgiveness. The Sabine women's plea ended the war, uniting Romans and Sabines into one people. Romulus and Sabine king Titus Tatius ruled jointly, setting a pattern of absorbing the conquered. After Tatius's death, Romulus ruled alone, creating the legions and the Senate, institutions that defined Rome. His mysterious disappearance in a storm led to his deification as Quirinus, Rome's sacred founder. Successive kings, both Latin and Etruscan, expanded the city and shaped its laws and religion. Numa Pompilius, a Sabine, established Rome's religious institutions and calendar, bringing peace and order. Later, kings alternated between war and peace, building infrastructure and integrating new peoples. The monarchy transformed Rome from hilltop villages to a true city. Each king left a mark, blending cultures and laying the groundwork for the republic. Rome's early monarchy was a time of growth, innovation, and constant change. For centuries, Rome's founding myths were accepted as history. Modern archaeology, however, reveals a more nuanced story beneath the legends. Excavations on the Palatine Hill show Iron Age huts from the era of Romulus, confirming early settlement. The evidence points to a gradual merging of hilltop villages, not a single dramatic founding. Discoveries like the Lupercal cave suggest Romans believed deeply in their myths, building shrines to commemorate them. Burial sites reveal a mix of Latin, Sabine, and Etruscan influences, supporting the idea of a multicultural origin. The real Rome grew through trade, conflict, and the fusion of diverse peoples. The myth, while poetic, reflects a complex and fascinating historical reality. Rome's early history was shaped by its powerful neighbors, especially the Etruscans to the north. The Etruscans brought advanced engineering, architecture, and symbols of power, transforming Rome from villages to a city. Etruscan kings like Tarquin the Elder built monumental structures and introduced customs like the toga and fasces. Rome absorbed Etruscan religion, engineering, and pageantry, adapting them to its own needs. The last king, Tarquin the Proud, ruled as a tyrant, his reign marked by cruelty and excess. Etruscan influence was profound, but their dominance would not last. The abuses of the monarchy set the stage for revolution. Rome's willingness to learn from others became a hallmark of its strength. The monarchy's long reign came to a sudden end, marked by tragedy. It all began with the appalling rape of Lucretia by the king's own son, Sextus Tarquinius. Lucretia's subsequent suicide galvanized the Roman elite into action. A determined Lucius Junius Brutus stepped forward and led a revolt. He was vowing that no king would ever again rule over Rome. The Roman people rose up and expelled Tarquin the Proud and his entire family, thus definitively ending the era of the monarchy. In its place, Rome boldly established a republic, featuring 2 annually elected consuls who would share power and responsibility. The Senate, once diminished, now regained its former authority, carefully ensuring that no single man could ever dominate the political landscape. This revolution truly marked a completely new era, a government forged by the people and explicitly for the people. This Roman Republic would endure for nearly 5 centuries, profoundly shaping the destiny of both Rome itself and indeed the entire world. The fall of the kings was therefore both a definitive end and a promising beginning. Rome's founding myth became the bedrock of its identity and a model for future generations. The stories of Romulus, Aeneas, and the Sabine women inspired leaders from Augustus to Napoleon. By tracing their roots to Troy, Romans claimed a heroic past and a right to rule. Rome's strength lay in its ability to absorb and unite diverse peoples. The legend endured through the Middle Ages and Renaissance, shaping art, law, and politics. Even today, the story of Rome's birth captivates and inspires. It reminds us that greatness often arises from struggle, complexity, and myth. The eternal city's legacy is a testament to the power of storytelling and the enduring allure of Rome.